We're going to start with today's Middah, the third Middah, V'oiver al Pesha. Please, if you can watch the introduction and do the past two Middahs, and also if you can send in any time that you're in a situation that you use any of the Yud Gimel Middahs, send it into twistedparenting@aol.com, and we're going to put together our own examples. You can change your own personal details to protect your privacy, but you'll feel CHIZUK of saying this and this happened, and I used this Middah or that Middah, and you can daven for tremendous, tremendous Yeshuas when you use these Middahs. Oiver al Pesha, he removes iniquity. This is a great attribute. For Hashem's forgiveness is not granted by means of any intermediary. He himself forgives the sin, as it is written, Ki imcha haslicha, forgiveness is with you. Umahi haslicha, what does forgiveness entail? Hashem cleanses the sinner from his sin, as it says in the pasuk in Yeshayahu, Imrachatz Hashem es tzayas b'nai Tzion, and also it says V'zarakti alecha mayim tahirim. Hashem will wash the filth of his daughters of Tzion, and it says, I shall sprinkle on you pure waters. And this is the attribute of Oiver al Pesha. He removes sin. Hashem sends cleansing waters to go and wash away the sin. Man, we must do the same exact thing. We should not say, why should I fix what somebody else did? Somebody else's fault. Somebody else damages. I should go ahead and fix it. Do not say that. For when a person sins, Hashem himself, not through a shliach, fixes his crookedness and washes the filth of his sin. With this in mind, a person should be ashamed to sin again, since the king himself washes the filth from his soiled garments. So the idea is, if Hashem is going to go ahead and clean up the mess that we spilled, he takes out the mop and he cleans. So we should also understand, sometimes people make a mess and we say, why should I clean it up? We grew up with that. It's not fair. The Yiddish mentality is, I'm going to do it even though it's not fair. And with that, I'm following in the footsteps of Hashem, and you'll see what will happen. When a person suffers damage, whose results still continue to disturb him, it would be fair for the offender who caused the damage to repair it himself. However, the offender is not always able to do so or won't do so. And then the victim is forced to repair the damage himself. Sometimes an offender negligently and shamelessly damages an outstanding and pious person, knowing that the victim will repair the damage himself, even though it's beneath his dignity to do so. If the injured party then shows his moral fiber and repairs the damage with his own hands and not through a shliach, not through an intermediary, he rises to a high moral level. He awakens Hashem's attribute of mercy expressed by Oiver al Pesha. He removes iniquity, bringing the element of compassion into the world. This is the piece. When we do this, we bring this element of this Middah into the world, and it creates tremendous rachmanos that Hashem increases his doing this for Klal Yisrael. Practical example. The pages of the calendar turned. Joyous events across the world were held in halls of all sizes. Yet, when the time came for the Jacoby family, remember them from last week, to once more host the family simcha, they again chose to host it in the yard of their building, just like the last 2 weeks. Mr. Jacoby told Mr. Simchon that this time he intended to do things right. You remember what happened last time? They used Mr. Simchon's electricity to make the party, and they kept them up, and they made a mess, and he cleaned it up, right? Mr. Jacoby told Mr. Simchon, this time we're going to do it right. He'll keep the loudspeakers at a decent volume. He would clean up afterwards himself. He hoped that he would not cause any inconvenience to the neighbors. Hopes and intentions are one thing, but reality is often something else. This time, the event was even bigger than the last. Mr. Jacoby tried to control the mess by leaving out some of the colored napkins and lessen the noise by lowering the volume of the loudspeakers, but the extra guests he invited more than made up for it with their own noise and mess. The excitement of his lively children and their lively friends, Bli Ayin Hara, added joy to the festivities, but not quite so much joy to the neighbors who were trying to fall asleep. Over the course of setting up and dragging benches back and forth, the fence around Mr. Simchon's private parking spot was bent out of shape. A week later, when the fence was still not repaired, Mr. Simchon started thinking less favorable thoughts about Mr. Jacoby. You made a mess once and I cleaned up for you? And now you damage my property and you just leave it like that? What kind of business is this? He thought to himself. Each time he got out of his car, he stared at the fence bent out of shape. He replayed in his mind the conversation he should have with Mr. Jacoby. Maybe I should offer him some of my tools to fix it, he thought. But then again, Mr. Jacoby is great at setting up tables and benches, but has two left hands when it comes to repairs. So who is going to fix this fence? I guess I will, he answered. Me? His inner voice responded. Who else? Who else is going to repair the broken fence if not me? It's not such a hard job after all. Mr. Simchon had gifted hands. In an hour and a half, he could straighten out the fence as good as new. But what about fairness, yashrus? What about justice? Why should he have to keep fixing the damage caused by others? Was it right to treat a man his age this way? Later, as he sat with his family at the dinner table, his daughter Michal told him that her class had started learning Devorah as a merit for the sick brother of a classmate. Devorah is known as a skula for recovery, for Yeshuas and Refuas. That's why we're doing this, partially. Thank you. Yudashatkan. Mr. Simchon raised an eyebrow in surprise. He expected his daughters to be learning things more down to earth, like the laws of Shabbos, tznius, shmiras haloshin. However, he made no comment on the matter, but instead, he asked his daughter what she thought about his story of the broken fence. Tati, if you fix the fence yourself, then according to Devorah, you will awaken the attribute of, he removes iniquity. Yes, he removes iniquity. I hope you don't mind my skepticism. I want to see this for myself. Show me the Sefer, Michali. After a quick glance through the Sefer, Mr. Simchon saw that his daughter was right. He brought out his tools and he set to work fixing the fence. He thus overcame his natural inclination and elevated his spirit to emulate his Creator. When people personally repair the damage that others do to them, Hashem repays them in kind. He cleanses by himself and not through any shliach the sins of the Jewish people to purify them, as it is written, Hashem will wash the filth of the daughters of Tzion and rinse the blood of Yerushalayim from its midst. So, we obviously know what life is like in Kipfil when we are doing all of these things on a daily basis. There's a part of us that says, what am I, a shmata? What am I, a shmata? And then we have to realize that according to our religion, you're not a shmata, you're an angel. That's what Hashem does. Was Hashem a shmata? Look at all the middas every week that we're learning. Review them and try to imbue them and put them into your life. When you do, you don't become a shmata, you become a malach.